Hi, and welcome to The Oklahoman. I'm Don Meekoy. I'm the managing editor here, and I'm joined today by David Dishman. David is one of our business reporters, and one of the beats that he covers is the medical marijuana beat. Also a bit of a numbers geek, David is, and he's been looking at a lot of the marijuana numbers. And I know here in the metro area, we've just seen an incredible number of dispensaries and marijuana businesses that have opened. And you've been looking at the numbers statewide, though. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing this other parts of the state as well?
Yeah, so obviously anybody who's driven around Oklahoma City will have seen dispensaries on what seems like every corner. And that's only a third of the businesses, because there's also processors and growers within our metro area. But across the state, there's now businesses in all 77 Oklahoma counties. And in each county, almost every county, there are growers, processors, and dispensers, some more so than others. Now, they're not nearly as dense or concentrated as you might see here in Oklahoma City or in Tulsa, but there are, some of those counties are collecting huge revenues per capita. So per person, these businesses are performing extremely well as anything here in our metro areas.
Well, I know here in the metro, when we see these dispensaries, particularly the commercial businesses, they're just kind of storefronts that appear in strip malls and on the corners and and is that what we're seeing out in the state as well, the same kind of deal?
Yeah, some. I recently visited both Harmon County and Pittsburgh County to take a look at a few different businesses in those areas. And in both cases, just like here, there's a storefront business of some sort, usually converted from an existing building. In Pittsburgh County, there's an old Papa John's building that is now a medical marijuana dispensary in McAllister. Down in Hollis, the lone dispensary in all of Harmon County is in a building that is shares a wall with a pharmacy, and it's actually owned by the pharmacist who owns the pharmacy. So it's two separate. I mean, like a shopping strip mall type setup. It's two separate addresses and businesses, but within the same building. So, yeah, same stuff that we're seeing around here.
What did you get a sense of what people think about this in these smaller towns?
Yeah. In Hollis, it was really interesting. I met with the owner of the dispensary down there, and afterwards we went to the local cafe to just sit down and talk. And while we were there, it was shortly before lunchtime, but people started to come in, trickle in, and this owner, he started pointing out, hey, my granddad used to farm with him, and I've delivered meds for her for years now, and so I went to high school with, and it was very, very much that small town. Hey, I know all these people in here, and he would kind of give the wave as they walked in. Well, then we got up to leave, and as he gets up to leave, then all of a sudden he's talking to every single one of them. They're all wanting to say hey. They're wanting to thank him for maybe something pharmacy-wise that he's done. You could tell that he was very well liked within the community. We left, and as we get out the door, another lady walks up, and she starts talking to him about, hey, I was wearing your dispensary shirt at the casino in Lawton, and somebody came up and said, hey, that stuff's really good. So you could tell just by the fact that he couldn't get out of the restaurant in a timely manner that he is very well liked. His business is certainly not frowned upon by everybody in the community. He did tell me that one lady had told him that he was going to go to hell for what he was doing, but that was the only negative pushback that he personally has received. On top of that, I went from there and I went up and down the downtown strip, and I went into the library and talked to some of the librarians there, and just started asking about town and what was going on. And I didn't tell them specifically that I was there talking about the dispensary, but they shortly provided that story. They said, hey, we have a dispensary now. And I said, oh, tell me a little bit more about that. And as they were telling me, one of the librarians said, you know, it's been really interesting. She said, we've been really hit hard by this opioid crisis in this area. She said, so having something that can maybe offer an alternative to that has been really nice and really beneficial. So it's you know, we think of the, you know, I think the outside perception of rural communities is the traditional Bible Belt feel that may be a little more conservative and of an approach toward this, but that is not the way I've encountered things at all. And same in Pittsburgh County. A lot of people are buying into this business, buying into this industry, and buying these products across the entire state, and not just in the metros.
So you've looked at the numbers from all across the state. You were talking about there were businesses in all 77 counties, and it makes me wonder, are some of these businesses near border areas attracting customers from out of state?
Yeah, so to buy from a dispensary in Oklahoma, you have to have an Oklahoma medical marijuana card. You have to be a card-holding patient. So in measuring these revenues and looking at these counties that have the highest rates of revenue per capita, I did notice that there were several counties along borders that had those high rates, which surprised me, and I thought, could it be that maybe there's business coming in from out of state? Well, I don't know that that is actually the case. Any statistician will tell you that correlation does not equal causation. And in these cases, I think there's plenty of other potential reasons as to why there's high numbers there. In Hollis, for example, they opened up very early in the process. They opened up last November, and they were one of the first businesses in the state, let alone that region, to open. And so they quickly gathered a ton of business from surrounding counties, anybody in that area, and in doing so, they, I think, were able to capitalize quickly and gain a loyal following even before businesses in the next closest, maybe like Lawton or Altus. All that to say, business across the entire state in all these counties is now booming, and we're seeing a lot of success for those in that industry, from metros to rural communities and everywhere.
Yeah, it's been remarkable how quickly that this fledgling business has grown, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more coverage, and David will be looking even deeper into the numbers, and we will have that coverage in the Oklahoman and on oklahoman.com anytime.